And now it's time for the latest exciting episode of Doz's Television Workshop.
Hello and welcome back to Doz's Television Workshop, where today we're looking at this great big pile of hi-fi from Liv. Right, so this stack of hi-fi here belongs to Liv, who is my mate Chris's daughter. She's got a Mini Metro, a proper one with an A-series engine. Anyway, Chris got in contact with me and could I have a look at this? And I said, yeah, sure, what's the problem? And going from the top, this is an Iowa linear tracking LX-30 turntable. These came in this sort of champagne finish, as well as a sort of dark sort of anthracite colour. And they suffer a little bit with belt rot, I have to say. But quite good. My father had one of these in a completely built-in sort of separate system where they all plugged into like a back plane. But yeah, we had one of these growing up as a child, I suppose. But yeah, quite good, as I seem to remember. They do suffer a lot with the belts turning into goo. Chris has done the belts, but he says it really isn't performing very well. Very woolly sound. I'm not quite sure if he said he put a new stylus on it or not, but we need to look at that. I don't think there's any problem with the CD player, but she bought it anyway, and could I give it a service? So probably just a clean up of the optics. Whether we make a video of that, I don't know. But the amplifier does have issues. This is popping and crackling. So I suspect that's going to be an easy fix as well. So yeah, we'll see how many of these we get done in one exciting episode. I think I'm going to start with the proper fault, and we'll have a look at the amplifier first. Okay, so this is the Rotel stereo integrated amplifier RA-980BX. I like Rotel stuff, it's quality gear. Yeah, this is apparently very crackly, so I suspect either dry joints or just noisy controls probably. Nicely rated, good heavy, good power supply, these are just well built, I think. Unfortunately, this one comes with a hint of mains lead, so I'm going to run it into that, which connects to the lamp limiter. I shall switch out the lamps, and we shall run it via there. I've got the speakers hooked up. I've got Old Faithful, the MP3 player, connected to the CD inputs. We just got, it's a very basic integrated amplifier, really. We've got a source select there marked listening. This one's for recording, so we can record from whatever inputs, and that connects it through to the tape loop. Mode switch, stereo, mono, mute. We've got dual concentric volume controls for left and right, tone defeat, tone controls, main or remote speaker, and a power button. So let's organise some power. Okay, so 241 volts into protection. Protection's come off. It's not very crackly, certainly on that front. Does seem very good. Let's put some license-free music on and have a little listen.
The tales of yesterday. Does his magic fingers make them work and stay? Crack screens standing.
Oh yeah, the volume control, it's actually dropping out on the left-hand channel quite badly.
History of the radio wave. Electron.
Phono amplifier, that might be just because it's unloaded, but you can hear that's got quite a lot of hum in just one channel. That may be because it's unloaded. Let's prove that out before we take it apart. So I'm just going to switch that off for a second. I will engage something we haven't seen on the channel before. This is Doz's Television Workshop reverse RAA flim flam. What you do is you connect into those two sockets, Old Faithful or any other line level, and it converts it to a sort of phono RIA-ish output here. I have to say it's lacking a bit in top end, but it was only made up out of what I had in the workshop at the time. So let's just pop that in there, connect that to our phono input, like that. Turn the volume down, let's go around to phono and see what that sounds like. See, it's lacking in top end, but
With a touch of love, your picture's clear and true. It does the sounds.
no, same crackly on the volume control. You probably can't hear that on the soundtrack. The soundtrack's mono. But yeah, the left-hand channel, little bit intermittent. So I think what we need to do, take it apart, clean the controls up, see if that solves our crackling issue, and set the bias, and probably pronounce this one fit. Right, getting in bits first. Let's just pull the mains and see what we've got. We have got some screws. Are they underneath? They are indeed underneath. Jolly good. Right. So we've got 6 screws across the bottom there. So let's get those out to start with. We've got M3 slightly coarse thread. Of course, it's not actually M3 unless it is a machine thread, but it's a sort of gives you an idea of the size of the thing. But yeah, it's slightly coarse thread. They're going into sort of untapped metal holes. Right, we've got 2 in the back here. Same screw. That slides out of the way. Interesting. I don't remember that being like that last time I had one of these in, but that would have been years ago. Right. So, okay. We have got some of the dreaded brown glue down by those capacitors. That's going to have to be all cleaned away. Same over here, and I don't like the look of that one bit. You see those 2 capacitors there? They're at jaunty angle. Might be just how they are. Biasing is very, very easily done on these, if memory serves. There's a couple of test points we hook up to. And I've got 2 bias controls there, but first things first, I do want to clean that glue off there. That's in really bad condition. We've got some around here as well. So while we're in there, let's do away with that. Right, I'll just get at it with my tweezers. Beauty of it is when it's got to this stage, is it's normally quite crumbly. Oh, and this isn't. It's still in its gooey phase. Oh no, well, in places. And what's left of it isn't around the legs of the components, so yeah, we're happy with that. As I've explained before, that glue becomes hygroscopic, goes dark brown, then starts conducting, gets corrosive, generally very unpleasant. And I'll tell you now, Rotel were just as guilty as everybody else in the 80s, 90s, and even today. I don't know what sort of glue it is, but it's not great. This one is nicely dated, look. 9137. Now, we have the Alps volume control here, which gives us a little bit of a problem because they're actually quite well sealed, and trying to get a little bit of deoxide in there can be problematic. But yeah, these, however, you can see these switches move back and forward as you rotate the knob. You can get at these quite easily. We've got a few of those. We've got the tone controls down here are the open variety. So yeah, let's get in there with a little bit of deoxit and give everything a bit of a clean up and see if that improves matters. Now the Alps pot, slotty the side that we can sort of aim a bit into and hope for the best. We don't have one in the other side, but let's run that back and forward a number of times. By the way, never clean a main switch. I generally find that if you've got a main switch that's sticky, changing it is your only hope. So I am not going to spray the main switch. Right, that's given those all a bit of a rotate back and forward a number of times. Give the headphone socket a quick birthday while I'm here. We'll just push a plug in and out of there a few times. That'll do. There we go. Right, let's see if that has resolved our crackling issues or whether we've got something else going on. I shall actually just pop this back in the CD input for now. Still got mains power. We're still playing stuff, so yeah. I think that's still working.
Magic fingers make them work and stay. Crack screens turn new pixel by pixel. Micro soldering the pathways with hands so nimble. History of the radio waves is in his eyes. A dance of electrons under neon skies.
Just skip on one to the left-right test track, which didn't seem to want to load. Let's try again.
Left, right, 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 left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Interesting. The right-hand channel is a little bit quieter. Okay. Next thing to do. We'll look at that in a second, but it might be related to bias. So let's just go and have a look at the service manual and see what it says about that. Right, I've managed to find a copy of the technical manual. I do like this Rotel Hi-Fi logo from the period. Very nice. Possibly even a bit retro at the time. We've got a nice layout of the board. Things to note here are VR601, VR602, TP1, TP3, TP4 and TP2. We're going to need those in a minute. Continuous power, 100 watts per channel. Minimum RMS, both channels driven into 8 ohms. So yeah, what a beefcake of a thing. And here we go, power amplifier bias adjustment, the first thing we come to. Instruments, DC millivolt meter, we shall use a multimeter as usual. Prior to bias adjustment, run about 5 minutes with rated output and warm up power transistors and heatsink. Set volume control to minimum. So they want me to run this at rated output, and our rated output is how much? 100 watts. And warm up power transistors and heatsink for 5 minutes. Right, not going to be able to do that, are we? What I shall do is I shall run it at about 50 watts for 10 minutes into a load, and hopefully that'll get it nice and warm enough that we can do that, because I haven't got a 100-watt load. Not easily to hand anyway. Right, that's going to be that. Okay, I've got a rarely seen bit of kit at the back of the bench there. Have we got a camera on that? Sort of. Let me zoom in over here. And doesn't often make an appearance. This is my homemade watt meter and load. As you can see, it says 8 at the end there. We've got an 8 and 4 ohm switch, and we've also got a BTL safety switch there. This is not a BTL amplifier, so we don't have to bother. So yeah, I've got a 1 kilohertz signal coming into both channels from the test generator, and as I increase the volume, you will see, there we go, 2 watts, 3 watts, 4 watts, 5 watts, 6 watts, and 12, and that noise you can hear is just the fan coming on, which is cooling the load. There we go, that is about 50 watts. So yeah, let's just leave that there for a little while. Must be time for a cup of tea, isn't it? Okay, well, I have to say we've been running for a good few minutes. These heat sinks are almost uncomfortable to the touch. This one is hotter than that one. I've hooked up 2 multimeters. This one's looking at these 2 test points down here, 3.5 millivolts and 1.9. Those are supposed to be 10. So yeah, what I'm just going to do, I'm going to give the bias pots a little birthday. And let's just adjust that for the appropriate level of bias. Oh, it's sensitive. There's 9. 12, too much. That is super touchy. That's about as close as I can get. That one is 9.2. Let's bring this one up to match. 7, 10 points. (9.1), 9.2. So if I do bring this up now, you watch the current rise into the output stage as we start to make power. Now, yeah, let's just click off for a second, reconnect the speakers. I'm going to disconnect the remote speakers. Now, interestingly, this is not a speaker changeover switch. It just switches in the remote speakers, and I have the load connected to remote. So I had to disconnect the main speakers because I'm trying to set the bias and not wait the dead. Right, back on. In protection goes out. I have to say that balance problem is no more. Yeah, that's good. So that's interesting. That one's risen slightly. Let's back that one down a little bit again. So they're both matching. Oh, we've still got a crackle on that side. Both tracking quite nicely now. Just wondering where that crackle's coming from. Ah! Worked better if I connected the speakers properly. Right, I'm just going to leave that again for a few minutes. Come back and recheck the bias. Going to turn it up, but the wife's out, so that's all good. Right, well, that's a good few minutes of running at volume. Heat sinks are hot, but they're equally hot now. And bias has remained in the same ballpark. I think I'm pronouncing this fit. That was easy. Let's have a look at the CD player next. Right, this is a Rotel RA-980BX compact disc player. And apparently this works, but she'd just like it looked at, so yeah, sure. We've got a high linearity PDM system and bitstream dual D and A converter. Very nice. Right, I'm connected up to the workshop test amplifier at the back there, and yeah, let's just power it up, and good clear display. Oh, and we've got a disc in it. What is it? I have no idea. It doesn't say. If anybody, Netflix, something modern. I'm not going to understand it then, am I? Right. Well, let's hit play and see how quickly it picks up the table of contents very quickly. We're playing. I've got no output. Oh, yes, I have. That's interesting. Right, okay, I shall skip on before we get a copyright strike. Get the last track on the disc. Again, it searches really quickly. This is in rude health. So let's just click the power off. Take it apart and we shall give it a little service. Let's just put the power back on and get the disc out. Put that somewhere safe for a moment. Okay, power off again. I think these are the same MO as their BX series amplifier. Yeah, we've got 4 screws underneath this time. Different from the amplifiers. Those are indeed M3 machine thread, about 8mm long. What have we got on the rear? Just the 2. Digital output worth noting, so you can add a posh D to A converter on it if you wished. A while ago I had the BX separate phono preamp. I do believe I sold it. Look how clean this is inside. Wow. Oh, a thing of beauty. Look at the engineering that's gone into that. Nichicon stuff all round. Just beautiful. Look at that. There's hardly any muck or filth in there. Can we date this one? Let's just have a look on our ICs. 92. Amplifier was 91, wasn't it? That IC there is dated the 6th week of 92. 92 10th week. So yeah, only 5534 amplifiers in the output stage. Nothing wrong with that at all. Right, okie dokie. Let's apply power, hit eject. Let's have a look at our belt. So it's in good condition. I'm not going to bother changing that. Let's have a look at the condition of our diode. Can we get to it from the top? It's a Philips Pro transport, I think, or something similar. I'm going to have to take that off. In fact, I think I can leave the sled in. Right, okay. Let's disconnect the spring. One. I'm going to pull the mains just in case I drop anything across something nasty. There we go. That then hinges up and out of the way. Do you know what? Look at the cleanliness of that lens. I'm just going to zoom in on that on the camera here just for a second, because, you know, to show a good one, well, it's easier to show a good one, I suppose, than a rough one. But can you just see the shine on that optic there? That's just crystal clear. There's no fog. There's no nothing on that. That is beautiful. And unlike the sort of Sony mechanisms with the worm drives, you can see this swings back and forward, and it's almost like a moving coil analog meter movement. I shall demonstrate. So let's get parts that are arriving for another project I'm working on. You know, this sort of ordinary moving coil instrument, you can see down in there the pointer is attached to, where are we? There we are. Down a bit, there we go. You can see the pointer here is attached to that. If I just give that a little flick, look, and you can see there's a coil of wire in there, and the coil of wire gets energized and it turns against, because it generates a bit of magnetism, turns and moves the pointer up on the meter scale. And imagine that laser is the pointer and the coil is underneath. Just that's how early CD players, and good CD players as well, were done, because Philips invented the damn thing with Sony. That's why if you see a port on the back of your CD player marked SPDIF, that's Sony Philips Digital Interface, because Philips came up with the idea and Sony backed it all the way. And yeah, there we go. Do you know what? I'm loath to clean that lens. There is nothing wrong with this. Interesting to look at, and what a beautiful thing, but there's just nothing to do to it. I'm going to put it back together. If you do clean the lens, cotton wool swab and something that's not IPA, please. Don't use a solvent on them. Some of the lenses, especially the Sony ones, they have a blue, they look blue to look at, and it's a coating, and if you put IPA on it, you can start to attack the plastic lens and clean the coating off, and you'll make it worse. Although possibly not immediately. I just use a bit of my green Mr. Muscle window cleaner on it, but you can breathe on it. It's the same if it's cold, you can breathe on it and it'll clean up just fine. But really, there's just nothing to do to this. And for the want of possibly causing damage, I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to put it back together. One other thing we should mention when looking at a CD player is this caution and danger writing on the top of the sled here. Let's just zoom out. I don't even catch that on the camera actually. Probably not. It's a bit black on black, isn't it? But it does say, caution, invisible laser radiation when open, do not stare at a beam. Danger, invisible laser radiation when open, avoid direct exposure to beam. Now, I've seen people, and I'm guilty of this a lot myself, which is probably why this eye is a lot worse than that one, is, you know, you have a quick squiz in there to see if the thing's lit, because you can see like a dim red glow. That's red you're seeing, not infrared. There's a lot of infrared light coming out of there. And yeah, avoid exposure to it. It's a lot brighter than your eyes are seeing it as. So don't do it, folks. Anyway, there we go. There's zero wrong with this. I'm not doing anything to it. Let's get the turntable out. Right, well, I didn't get a chance to finish checking out this turntable yesterday, so yeah, I'll just explain what we've got going on. This is the Akai LX-30. It is a linear tracking turntable. Just to recap, because I can't remember what I've said before, Liv's dad, Chris, changed all the rubber belts in it, and says it appears to be working well, but the sound quality is poor. So what I've got, the turntable is plugged into this, which is actually came from a radio station. It's a phono preamp, but it's only mono. It was only ever an AM station, I think. So we've got left and right going in, but they're combined internally, and we've just got one coming out, which is feeding the workshop amplifier. So the complaint is poor sound quality. So I'm just going to switch it on for a start. There we go. A little bit of hum coming through, but that's probably more the preamp than anything else. I'm just going to go on to track 3, because track 1's sort of a bit lo-fi anyway. This is the Sunday Club, so so I'm going to stop that before I get a copyright strike. It does sound fine. So I'm just going to disconnect one channel. Let's have a listen to this one, see if this is all right. Okay, I'm just going to disconnect that. Let's hook the other channel up.
What that means.
That sounds all right to me. All that nasty noise you can hear is just the interference in the workshop. Not ideal. But no, that does sound all right to my ears. So I don't think we've actually got a fault with this. So yeah, I think Chris can have this back. I'm just going to run it all the way through, make sure it plays back this LP fine. And yeah, I'll get him on the phone and he can come and collect it all. And there you have it. Liv's Hi-Fi lives on. One easy basic service to the Rotel amplifier, and 2 no-fault founds, really. Very good indeed. I am very jealous of that CD player. That's a wonderful piece of equipment. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Click like, subscribe, do all that rubbish, and I'll see you really soon here on Dozzy's Television Workshop. Cheers now. Bye.
Just jump the keys. Wonder how long it's been. Cold Sanger and Frey. The soul machine warmed by the glow of the street. The vintage tree in my hands. If you and I keep believing, we'll bring back its wondrous past. If you and I keep believing, memories made will last. Circuitry lines pieces from another time. Thousands of songs, piece by piece, making keys, typewriter rhythm. Remember turn on trees and tricks life. If you and I keep believing, we'll bring back its wondrous past. If you and I keep believing, memories made will last. Loving every spark and crack, we were forgotten by the days gone by. Never let go. This old machine